Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 11th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I would say my mood has improved throughout the week, though overall I'd say the vibes are good. Just kind of running away from my demons. No, things are good. The vibes are nice and tight. Let's see here. I kind of want to talk, though, about a funny thing that happened at work that I'm living with right now. It's lingering with me. So work was pretty slow, not too bad. Definitely had some downtime. Even I read usually about once a week, usually, so it was definitely a good reading day while I just worked. That was cool. But I noticed there was a dumpster or a little buggy, a little trash buggy. And I was like, "You've got to be shitting me," because I could kind of smell it, right? And it was from the food from yesterday, the whole catering bullshit, the fucking breakfast. There's fucking eggs in this trash buggy. No one's thrown it out. It's been sitting the whole time. I think at this point, I've probably it's past 2:30, whatever. So it's been sitting. It's been a while, over a day. I'm like, ugh, yuck. Well, I can't be the one to let this continue to rot. I have to fucking deal with it. So I go to chuck it, and it turns out that was the easy part. That was the tip of this iceberg. And I keep tossing, and I can just smell it almost instantly, and you see it. It's just a vat of salsa, just red salsa. And I'm like, ugh, okay, and proceed to just hard chuck, get as much of this shit out as I can. But next thing I know, I've painted the compactor walls with salsa. I can just smell it everywhere. It's like a miasma of it. It was like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's exactly what my day needs. So I proceed to get my handy dandy trusty shovel, because that's right, I have a shovel. I love that thing. And I proceed to scoop out as much as I can, and then I have to go clean off the shovel because this is my this is for my cardboard. It's not meant for this, but it's just a good scoop motion. So yeah, I was in the weeds a little bit with that, but we got it done. We handled it. But yeah, now I just smell like a bowl of salsa. Not even good salsa, because it's stinky trash salsa. These are just tales of Oscar the Grouch. I just wanted to, let y'all know what I'm living with right now. It's my slice of life. But yeah, food corner from last night, which was also trash. I made mistakes, but let's just get into it. These are my confessions. It was hamburger, hot dog, fry. Easy, textbook. Y'all know how that goes. There wasn't supposed to be anything weird about it. But in this weird, almost manic moment, I was like, you know what would make this better? Those two remaining sliders I had in the freezer. So I proceed to yank those out. Literally, I have everything plated. It's all out. I've eaten halfway through. I'm like, I just have so many fries. I also added coleslaw and baked beans because I just had those remaining. So I'm like, let me just put those on there. It was just such a mess. And then, like I said, I had those nuked sliders. I was doing myself no fucking favors. I felt like a fat, bloated Michelin Man balloon all day. But silver lining, I checked the scale, my little cargo freight scale at work, and we are clocking in at around 253 or so. So that felt good. That feels good that we're kind of keeping the weight off for now. Though, I mean, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I feel like a Game of Thrones character. I'm dreading the winter. I know. It's what are you talking about? Summer just started, dog. Relax. Enjoy the shit. Eat a popsicle. Yeah, dog, one, I shouldn't do that. So much sugar. Two, once winter comes, once this shit dips below 60 something, I'm not going to have the desire to walk outside. And I'm definitely, with the circumstances at play here, do not really have the money for a gym membership. So I'm very worried that my progress is going to be dashed, and I'm going to get stuck in a cycle. Because y'all know what I'm trying to hit. Really around where I'm at now, if I just lost 10 more pounds, that's a big check off of my list. Then it's just hey, then you really do just got to find the gym membership and tone up. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're a little blobby, a little fat, but hitting a goal like that for me would just be so crazy. So I'm kind of worried and concerned about that. But then meanwhile, I'm also just freaking out and eating sliders like the craziest person. I don't know. It's feral behavior. Okay, so we've yapped and yammered about myself. Now I want to talk about some trending shit in the news. How about that? How's that sound? Hopefully good, because it's coming. Let's do the startup, and we'll go ahead and get into it. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Okay. Our first story comes from People, as in like the People magazine. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is pregnant, expecting first baby with boyfriend Ken Urker. All right. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is going to be a mom. The Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup star, 32, which I've said this before. It still trips me out that she's like a year younger than me. Like, I always think that she's so much younger, but I suppose that's the whole part of the Munchausen by proxy bit. But who, after years of being subjected to painful medical abuse, played a role in the 2015 killing of her mom, Dee Dee, is expecting her first baby with boyfriend Ken Urkel, 31. Blanchard shared the exciting news in a video titled, "I'm Pregnant, My Journey So Far," excuse me, posted on her YouTube channel on Tuesday, July 9th. "I know the rumors have been flying around for quite some time now," she explains, "and I'm happy to announce that I'm 11 weeks pregnant. Ken and I are expecting our first child to come January of 2025, she continues, adding that this was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected, but we're both very excited to take on this new journey of parenthood." Now, to be honest with you, I haven't talked about Gypsy Rose since he's gotten out. I kind of thought that for me, this is where I wanted the story to kind of be done, and I was just going to leave it. But she's definitely still stayed in a certain kind of iconic status, if you will. She's still making headlines. People are still talking about her. So, I've definitely kind of picked up some things secondhand, listening to my friends, spread the gossip, give me a little bit of the tea. But I figured, hey, let's do a little bit of a catch up now that she is expecting. Obviously I'm not the best person to, broach these kind of pop, I don't want to say it's pop. Maybe it's like page 6, whatever, usually this isn't my kind of beat, but I figured, hey, why not? This is really, honestly, this is an episode for the girls, for the ladies. But yes, Ken and I are expecting our very first child come January of 2025. She continues, adding that this was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected, but we're both very excited to take this new journey of parenthood. All right. Let's see. Later in the video, Blanchard addresses some concerns she's heard from her followers. "I know that there are going to be people who feel like I'm not ready to be a mother. And I don't know if anyone's really ready to be a mother." Honestly, great counter to that question, because anytime someone asks me that question, I was like, when are you really ever ready? But hey, I was a person who was not trying to have any kids. That's a different story. Let's see here. She then got emotional, and actually, no, I did want to have kids at the time. Let me actually fully elaborate on that. But I also was just like, let me enjoy my shit. And now I'm like, I don't know if I want any kids. Anyway, she then got emotional about the opportunity of being a loving mother to her child. "All the things I wanted in a mother, I want to give this baby," she said, wiping tears from her eyes. "I am a mother now. I am happy, and I just want to be a good mother for my child. I want to be everything my mother wasn't." I saw the worst. I can't remember where I first saw it, whether it was on Twitter or if it was on Facebook. But someone posted this baby has the opportunity to do the funniest thing, and I was like, damn, that's fucked up. I did not share that. I did not post that, but I definitely thought about it. But yeah. I get how this is a thing where it's almost hey, this is a turn of the worm moment. How do you feel being a mother? Also, there's a whole drama between her and then her ex, which is Ryan Anderson, who she was initially married to. They have a whole falling out, which is something I did not cover. I really don't want to get too into, but they had a falling out. But meanwhile, this was someone she was initially with when she was in jail. They had fell in love. I think they had I think they got married and then divorced. I don't know. Whatever. They were like a thing and then not a thing. Let's just say it that way. Just for make a long story short. Actually, I can just read a quote. Ken and I reconnected as friends. It wasn't like jump out of a marriage and then let me meet up with you. And then boom, we're in a relationship, she said. We had kept a friendship for the longest time. He was in a relationship. I was with Ryan. And so we were living different lives with respect to our partners. Wish you the best type of thing. Yeah, I think they were just dating and then they fell out or something like that. But then now they've rekindled and now, they're with child. I know that there's like, love triangle, like, well, who's the baby daddy? I don't know, but I imagine she's probably knows exactly that this is Ken's baby, right? I don't know. But yeah, this is the tea so far. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I really wanted to pull from here? Let's see. It talks about the relationship, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I feel good with this. More or less, I just wanted to say, hey, this is an update on Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And, I don't know if we're going to do any more coverage on this. Maybe. I don't see why not. But also, if you have any, Gypsy Rose Blanchard knowledge, tea, information, feel free to slip that my way, because I'm very ignorant on this subject. I know very little. Like I said from the last time, I watched a little bit of the Hulu show, and I didn't want to watch it. It was something my ex was just watching, and I was like, oh, okay, if you're gonna, have this on, okay, and I would just, kind of, peek it. But definitely a crazy story. Like I said, I'm surprised that it still has legs, but that's just me underestimating the internet and how we love a good story. We love a good tale, and this is a real person. And it's like, oh my God, it's crazy that you went through literal Munchausen by proxy. I think it has a new name now. I heard that when I was listening to Side Stories. And I was like, ooh, that's neat. And I didn't remember it, and I'm not gonna try. But speaking of last podcast on the list, let's move on to the next story. Because this is where I learned about Jodi Arias. From The Independent, Jodi Arias is selling her artwork online for thousands while serving a life sentence for ex-boyfriend's murder. Was it an ex? I guess. It's been a while since I've touched this story. But Jodi Arias is serving life in prison for brutally slaying her boyfriend, but is still able to sell her artwork from behind bars for thousands of dollars, which blew my way back. Up until literally today, I thought that was illegal, period, full stop. I remember John Wayne Gacy, right, or some shit, or Son of Sam, these are people who, you can't do this shit. Okay, nice try, buddy, but, no, you can't do this. We're stopping this. We're putting the kibosh on that. But apparently, in Arizona, you can. But yeah, let's dig in. Arias, 44, was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole in 2015. She killed her boyfriend. Yeah, her boyfriend. I don't know why they said ex, but whatever. Anyway, maybe they're like, we were on and off again in the bathroom, and then I killed him. Anyway, she killed her boyfriend, Travis Alexander, in 2013 after stabbing him 30 times, slitting his throat, and leaving his body in the shower in his Phoenix area home. Now she has been posting prints of her on her website and Instagram account, where buyers can purchase her pieces, which range from $34 to $2,500. And I'm like, bro, what? That blew my wig back, but here we are. Now she has been posting prints on, or I already read that, my bad. On her Instagram account, at Art by Jodi Arias. She has posted dozens of her works with captions explaining what inspired the art, what the colors signify, and what the titles mean. Which, god damn it, I fucking hate that. I'm not gonna lie, dude. That shit is cringe to me. Don't get me wrong, I get it. You're an artist. You gotta explain your fucking piece. If you were at an exhibition, that's how it would fucking go, or what fucking ever, dude. But, it's a cow. I don't care about how you came about the fucking, origins of it. At least not here. Not in this context. I don't know. But yeah, speaking of the cow, one of her prints features a close-up of a cow and a green field with a multi-shaded blue background on an 8x8 canvas. An officer interested in the painting's progress kept asking how old girl was coming along. The Instagram caption read, "She said it several times and it clicked." That's the title. And it's a picture of a cow. And, I don't know, man. No, yeah, let me go, full, I guess, art critic on this shit. not that I'm one to even give a real critique or whatever, but like there are certain aspects of it that I can see she's hitting it. Like, oh, the cow's ears look kind of cool, and like the cow's nose, like I can see what you're doing. But then like you look at like the udder, and it's like that's not an udder, girl. That's not it. Like you got the tips, but that's not an udder. There's other parts that I don't know. It kind of feels a little phoned in, but then I also look at it like, why am I trying to be an art critique? This is someone who's in prison and they're making it happen and they're expressing themselves with art. And like overall, is it a cow? I definitely can tell it's a fucking cow. I definitely know I couldn't goddamn do it. And kudos for that, But yeah, it's just weird. It's just surreal. Because I got a level with y'all. In terms of the art by Jodi Arias, I am only familiar with her photography, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, apparently she's having a lifelong love affair with art, according to her website. And like I said, the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation and Reentry, where Arias is I was about to say reincarnated, where Arias is incarcerated, told the New York Post that while it is aware of Arias's art venture, it isn't illegal. So, okay, go on then, I guess. Like, let me let you cook. I thought you were not allowed to. And this kind of takes me back to some of the points that I've been hitting on since I've been doing this podcast. Like, at the end of the day, when you're putting someone in prison, like, what is it? Like, where does it go? What is the end result? Are you really just trying to bury a person alive for X amount of time, for their whole life, whatever, and that's what it is? It's just punishment, and, like, you give the victim some kind of closure or solace? Or do you really mean the rehabilitation part? Because if you mean that, then the prison system is severely lacking. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that shit. So, in that regard, I think it's a nice thing that this corrections facility is saying, hey, we don't have a stipulation stopping someone from being an artist or making money. Because she even mentions this in the article, or it's mentioned in the article, I should say, that it's like, what am I to do when it comes to like commissary and means? Like, I don't have when it comes to being in prison, there's no real way of making an income. It's like, well, you can get a job, blah, blah, blah. That shit does not pay. It pays like fucking quarters and shit. It pays like dollars for hours. Like, it's nothing, dude. It's no money. And like, you look at commissary prices, you can't afford shit with that. So this is something that literally is giving you an income, and you don't have to beg your family who doesn't have the means to facilitate. They have to literally fend for themselves, Like, it gives you a chance to make money without having to put it on them, the burden on them. So take out all the fucking celebrity or whatever you know about Jodi Arias, and you break it down to this is just a prisoner. This is someone who is in prison for the rest of their life, right? There's no possibility of parole. Like, what do you want them to do? Mash license plates, push slop for literally, once again, quarters and shit? Or they can make a sustainable living now, like any fucking person in a fucking situation, right? Like, at some point, I feel like you do have to let that shit go and say, hey, this person's in prison and they're making the most of that situation. Just be happy that they're not, like, they haven't become, like, a worse person, at least as it seems. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know. This isn't me, I feel like, being a Jodi Arias defender. I don't know. Come for me, I guess. I don't know. But once again, this is just my beef with the fucking prison system more than anything else. But yeah, I found this situation fascinating. I am certain that this is going to be on Side Stories, and I beat them to it. And it always feels good if I ever do that. But obviously, they've covered so many things. Apparently there was like a lobster dumping story, and I'm not covering that now. I'm just mentioning it offhand. They talked about it today. And then there's been like a slew of things, and it's like the pasta story I did cover. And I'm like, damn it, I want to be y'all so bad. Y'all living the best lives, talking about the funnest news. And I'm over here talking about shit that makes me cry. But hey, such is the way, such is the path that we take as human beings. I am not Henry Zabrowski. Anyway, let me move along. I'm sorry. I'm waxing poetic. This is a little bit more of a, grittier true crime story, but also from People. There you go. Actually, this is a lot of People articles. Makes sense for, I guess, what I'm talking about today. But this was a bit different from People. A Chicago woman gets 58 years in prison after she dismembered her landlord following an eviction notice. This is an update we've covered from, when we initially got it. So I was like, yep, let's just throw it on. Technically, I guess this is kind of like the Bad Girls Club episode. A little bit. A Chicago woman has been sentenced to 58 years in prison after being found guilty of killing and dismembering her landlord. According to WGN TV, CBS Chicago, and the Chicago Tribune, Cook County Judge Ursula I cannot pronounce it. Wallowski. Ursula Wallowski sentenced Sandra Kolalu on Wednesday, July 10th, nearly 3 months after she was convicted of first-degree murder for the October 22nd death of 69-year-old Frances Walker. During the sentencing, Wallowski called Walker's death something out of a horror movie, telling Kolalu, "The nature and circumstances of this case are quite aggravating for a human being to do this to another human being," per the Chicago Tribune. So yeah, I mean, obviously, very fucking unfortunate story. They talk about was it Katrina Lee Walker, who said her aunt's death caused her to be withdrawn from social life, which I can completely understand. If one of my siblings was dismembered in pieces in their own like home, that'd be pretty fucked up. Let's see here. But yeah, based on the totality of the evidence, the detectives believe the crime actually occurred in the victim's bedroom. And then they do believe that the dismemberment took place on the first floor of that residence. Chicago Police Chief of Detectives Brendan Dinahan said during a previous press conference. And I do believe, like, Kolalu, like, even, you know, she tries to say, like, hey, I didn't do this. It wasn't me, like, da-da-da-da. But once again, the evidence does point to that. She was served an eviction notice. And it's like, look, dude, I've talked a lot of shit about landlords, and God knows I'm going to continue to talk shit about landlords. It is one of those things where it was an uncanny, surreal moment when I was talking to someone I worked with. And this is someone I've talked to, I have a rapport with, and I realized, I'm like, you motherfucker, you're a landlord. Like, you own property. You do all this fucking shit. That's so surreal. It's so strange. And, like, if y'all know my background, how I feel and think about things, yeah, I'm not the biggest fucking fan of landlords. That being said, as much as I'm a Dead Kennedys fan, no, don't dismember your fucking landlord. That's a bad call. It's a bad move. You know what I mean? I do understand it, though. Like, you're served an eviction notice. Some motherfuckers have not been there, okay? Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying, oh, you give that to me, that's what I do. Because guess what? My motherfucking landlord, that motherfucker's still walking today. And I'll leave it at that, okay? All right? But, yeah, don't do that shit, you know? Because those kind of fucking reactions are going to lead you to just being a part of the fucking system. And I guarantee you, someone like Kolalu is not going to be able to come an artist and make fucking semi-realistic cows for a profit. You feel me? You know? So okay, that's that. We have one more thing I wanted to touch on and talk about, but let me go ahead and take my last break, and we'll go ahead and give our condolences, give our flowers. It's one of those. So I'm sure if you have any kind of social media or you've been around an actual physical newsstand, you'll have heard the news about Shelley Duvall passing away at 75. Actually, like right after her birthday. Complications from diabetes. I got this from People. I'll read the title real quick. Shelley Duvall, the Shining and Nashville actress, dies at 75 from complications of diabetes. She died just days after her 75th birthday. She's survived by her partner Dan Gilroy. My dear, sweet, wonderful life partner and friend left us. Too much suffering lately. Now she's free. Fly away, beautiful Shelley. Now, full disclosure, I am not a horror movie guy. In terms of like Shelley Duvall and her body of work, I haven't like seen any movie off top, just seeing like clips and stuff. But this is definitely a person who acted at a level that is just so intense. It's high level shit. And, obviously the world is going to miss her. I know she made her big name off of like The Shining. That's like probably what I most know her for. But let's see here. I wanted to talk about. I think I saw on the internet and they mentioned it here. Let me just keep scrolling. Here it is. Yeah. After The Shining's release, and she turned towards producing in the '80s with children's anthology series like Tall Tales and Legends, and Fairy Tale Theater. The latter of which she convinced stars like Robin Williams, Terry Garr, Jeff Bridges, Mick Jagger, and Liza Minnelli to appear on, according to the Los Angeles Times. The series won her a Peabody Award in 1984. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, once again, an amazing woman with an amazing body of work. Definitely went through a whole lot of shit to get where she was, and was even making independent movies and stuff like that. Also, doing producing. So amazing woman, amazing person. I felt like, hey, I definitely should shout her out. Once again, give flowers. But yeah, that's it. I think that's where I want to leave it today. And let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, you become a newsie today. That's an option. You can do that. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Then let's see here. Free ways to hit me up. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And then feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Trying to get those subscriptions up on YouTube. That's a free way to just help out a lot. Leave a cool comment. Hit the like button. Sharing is always caring. And it can be fun. Just try it. Boop. But yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.